You have to be careful, you're going to die. He's looking at me. You don't believe, of course, everybody has to die. Yeah. Some sooner, other later.
The cheetah don't die.
No, that's a problem. So, the first noble truth is dukkha. Dissatisfaction. We are not satisfied with the way things are. Somebody says something to us, we are not satisfied. When the weather is bad, we are not satisfied. When the weather is too hot, we are not satisfied. When we are hungry, we are not satisfied. When we are sleepy, we are not satisfied. So dukkha. Lots of dukkha. Even here, during the day, we can see it much more clearly. When we're tired, we want to sleep. The dukkha of boredom or restlessness. We just cannot be satisfied with the way things are. If we would be satisfied with the way things are, no matter if the world, we see the world as evil or as good, it wouldn't bother us. Because we cannot change it. That is one of the key things that we have to learn. We cannot change things. We cannot change the clouds that, are covering the sun. We cannot produce clouds that will cover the sun when it's so hot. We cannot change things. We cannot change if it is raining or not raining. We cannot change if we are born or not born. We cannot change when we are going to die, how we are going to die. So, be happy, don't worry. If you don't worry, you'll be happy. If you don't think about a future that doesn't come, we're happy. If you don't constantly think about our past, we can be happy. If we don't worry about anything, we could be happy. But we have this feeling that we need to do something. We just cannot stay still. Constantly moving around. With every move that we do, we do some karma. Be it neutral karma, bad karma or good karma. Movement is, if we give something, it's also movement. We move, put it in both of our hands, and give it to somebody. It's moving. Action of the body. Action of speech. You cannot be still. Two people, sitting beside each other, sooner or later they have to talk. It's not in our nature to stay still. And this kind of movement, creates some restlessness within us. We're always looking for satisfaction. And whatever we touch, it disappears. It's like running after soap bubbles. I mean, probably all of you, when you were a kid, you played with soap bubbles. Oh, they're so beautiful. Blowing, these beautiful soap bubbles. Yeah? Then you run after it, you catch it and blow. Yeah? And that is the same with our dreams. We run off after our dreams. The moment they come close, blow, blow, blow. They all disappear, all vanish. We think if we have this, we are happy. We think if we have that, we are happy. Or we think if we can get rid of this, we are happy. Huh? So why are we not happy? We have bought so many things, we have achieved so many things, and we're still not happy. We have gotten rid of so many things, we're still not happy. Because there's always more. Always more. If you buy one thing, we need to buy 10 other things. You think about it. If I have this, now I can buy this. Then I can buy this. Then I can buy this. Yeah? Or if I've done this, if I achieve this, then now I can achieve this. Now I can achieve that. So there's no end to it. It's just like in science, we say, if you answered one question, two or 10 more questions pop up. We wanted to know what is beyond our universe, beyond our stellar system. Once we know that there's something else, what is beyond that? What is beyond that? Why is it like this? Why is it like we always want to know? Always, we're never satisfied with what we know by now. And that is the power of avijja, wanting to know, not being able to know in depth. Wanting to understand, not being able to understand in depth. The only thing that can know, and there we don't have to do anything, because it's the nature of the citta that knows, and it's the nature of the citta that understands. So, we have to teach the citta to look at the things, we are dissatisfied of, or we are attached to, and let the citta understand what it is attached to, and how unpleasant that is, or what it wants to get rid of, and how unpleasant that is. We have to teach the citta. That is the path of practice. We cannot assess it. We cannot, try to figure it out. And we are all trained, from the moment we are born, we are all trained to try to understand. But not understanding with our heart, understanding with our brain. We went to school for at least 9 years, in most of the countries, and some of us for 13 years, and then went to university and so on. And still we don't know everything. Always wanting to know, always wanting to understand, always wanting to see, wanting to hear, wanting to smell. That's nice food, let's try this other. It smells differently. Or it looks differently. This country looks different from that country. That's why we want to go there. The Asians look different from the Europeans, and the Europeans look different from the Red Indians, and the Red Indians look different from the Africans. So, where's the end? It's constantly, this avijja is constantly driving us on, and there is no end to it. If you follow avijja, there is no end to it. We are going to be reborn and reborn and reborn forever. That's what the Lord Buddha saw, and that's why he gave us the fourth noble truth. The truth that leads to the end of dukkha. And the truth that leads to the end of dukkha, is comprised of 3 columns. The column of sila, that makes us quiet. These 5 precepts. The column of sila is the 5 precepts, keeping the 5 precepts. When we're here in the monastery, we keep even 8 precepts. We do that as good as we can. Then, the second column is the column of samadhi. Samadhi means concentration and the development of sati. That's the second column. The third column is the column of wisdom. And wisdom, we cannot get wiser by reading something. We can only get wiser through experience. Through experience of dukkha, we can get wiser. See how much dukkha it is, how much unpleasantness it is. Yeah? So some people think, oh, samadhi is so difficult. Yeah? Sila, okay, I keep it. Yeah? So let's focus on panya, on wisdom. I'm clever. I went to university, so I can suss it out. Yeah? But that's not the way. Yeah? I mean, if you could go to university, why are we so stupid and sit here, and torment ourselves, by sitting in samadhi, trying to sit in samadhi for 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, or walk chankram for 6 or 7 hours, yeah? Overcoming pain, yeah? Overcoming boredom, overcoming restlessness, overcoming despair, overcoming fear, yeah? Why are we so stupid if we could suss it out? Yeah? Somebody teaches us, the truth, yeah? That's the truth, The problem about the truth is, it changes every moment. So nobody can actually teach us the truth. The truth is there in this one moment, there's the truth, yeah? And then in the next moment, the truth changes. And that's what we don't understand. We wanted to look for the ultimate truth that is not existence in this universe. The ultimate truth is, beyond this universe. Yeah? And that's what we have to find. But we cannot find it with our mind, yeah? Or we cannot find it with our thoughts, or through our thoughts and through our memory. No, we have to investigate. Yeah? But we are not able to investigate if you don't have concentration. We have to concentrate on an object to be able to investigate. That's why we need samadhi. So people who say, mostly in the West, because samadhi is so difficult to train, yeah, they say, wisdom delivers us to freedom. It is true. But if it's the only thing, why did the Lord Buddha taught us, sila, morality, yeah? Samadhi, and then panya. There are 3 columns that you build the house of freedom on it. Yeah? I mean, if your column of sila is very low, you cannot build up the other columns. Yeah? Samadhi will not get very high, yeah? And panya will not get very high. Yeah? So you have to build up all 3 columns at the same time. And then your house of nibbana is very stable. Yeah? And that's what lots of people don't understand. Yeah? I mean, the column of sila, yeah, supports samadhi. I mean, if you don't worry about, that you have done anything wrong, I mean, it is much easier to get into samadhi. Yeah? If you have samadhi and develop sati through samadhi, yeah, then it is much easier to see, where your sila lacks. Yeah? Otherwise, we don't see it, because we don't have sati. We don't have this awareness. Yeah? And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Yeah? So, I mean, all these 3 things are very important. Yeah? And if you have panya, if you have developed panya, I mean, it supports both. Yeah? Panya can lead, deep panya can lead to deep samadhi. Yeah? But panya also can lead to understand, that we don't keep our sila very properly. Yeah? So without these 3, that are intertwined, yeah, we will not be able to build a house of nibbana. Yeah? Just through sila, no. Yeah? I mean, just think about, a house on three poles, yeah? On one pole, I mean, it goes off in every direction. Yeah? On two poles, it goes off at least in two directions. So if you base it, on Sila and Panya, it goes off in two directions. Yeah? Only if you build it on three, it is stable. And don't forget, and understand that, perfecting Sila is not possible without raising your level of Samadhi and Panya. Yeah? Perfecting Samadhi is not possible if you don't raise, Sila and Panya. Yeah? And perfecting Panya is not possible if you don't perfect, Sila and Panya, Sila and Samadhi. So each one supports each other, and they're intertwined. The more sati we have, the clearer we see. Yeah? And the more wisdom we have, the more we do understand, the necessity of this sila, of this precept, or that precept, and we look deeper into it. So this is the key to practice. Yeah? If somebody doesn't understand the Fourth Noble Truth in this way, I mean, he can get off very easily. Yeah? Especially when one thinks, when one comes from the West and thinks, oh, I need only Panya. It's true. Panya cuts the fetters, but without the ability to see, I mean, you don't see the fetter that you want to cut. Yeah? You adhere to your thoughts, you adhere to your memory, and you don't see that these are actually wrong memories and wrong thoughts. Yeah? You have to go into the state of samadhi where there is no thoughts and no memories until you see, there's another reality. Yeah? That's the reality of being. Yeah? Just being, yeah? Just feeling. Yeah? If you don't, if you adhere to your thoughts, if you attach to your thoughts, and if you attach to your memories, I mean, you will never be able to see another reality. Yeah? And once you are in this reality of just being, then you can go even deeper, into the deep samadhi where everything disappears. And that's where you see the preview of Nibbana. It's just a preview because you get out. Yeah? Once you get out, everything is the same. So samadhi doesn't cut anything, and samadhi doesn't itself lead to wisdom, what a lot of people think, but it's not true. Samadhi is just samadhi. It's a concentration, you dive off, yeah? And then once you go back, you come up again. I mean, everything is the same, nothing has been changed. Yeah? The only thing that has been changed is your understanding that there's a different reality than I'm living in. So we have to try, we have to understand the Fourth Noble Truth. Yeah? So, I mean, do as much as you can to perfect your sila, and then do as much as you can, to perfect your samadhi, yeah? And then panya. Yeah? Once you're able to lock on, any object that you want to investigate, for 15 minutes without any thoughts and any memories, then you can start asking questions about this object. What is hair? What is the body? What is food? Yeah? What does the body consist of? Yeah? How does the body change? Then you can ask this question. Or you can ask the question while you do samadhi. What is pain? Yeah? It wasn't there before. When you get up, it isn't there. So it's some sort of magic trick that you fall for it. Yes, I'm in pain. Doctor, give me some pills, huh? I mean, if there's one thing in this world that human beings don't like, is pain. Yeah? And that's why doctors make a fortune. And pharmaceuticals. Yeah? Before it wasn't, 150 years ago, there were no pharmaceuticals. There were whatever you call them, people who gathered, herbs. Yeah? I mean, the Chinese were famous for their knowledge of herbs and, what kind of effect it has on the body. But even in Europe, I mean, there were quite a lot of knowledgeable people. Yeah? And it's all natural. Yeah? And then some clever people thought, maybe we do it chemically, yeah? We understand the substance, what helps, and then produce it chemically. And now we are addicted to that. We are addicted to medicine. We are crazy about medicine. Yeah? If something is wrong in the body, instantly, we need to go and see a doctor. Instead of looking ourselves, or just relaxing the body, that would help with most of the problems. Yeah? So understand this fourth noble truth. Yeah? It is very important. Yeah? Samadhi is, is also called samatha. Samatha is just calm meditation. Yeah? Panya, the development of panya is also called vipassana, insight meditation. And insight, seeing inside, comes only through asking the right question. What is pain? Yeah? If we lock our attention onto the pain, yeah, and observe it, yeah, just like every physicist, has observed, yeah. Before they found the atom, what did they do? They observed them, yeah. They observed the process. Yeah? Now it is just 100 years ago. We're very, very smart, yeah? Very genius, yeah? Physicists. But how did they do that? How did they invent one? How did they get the insight? Watching, observing, until they see from the start until the end. And then they can deduct, and then they can put it into formulas. Yeah? Chemists did the same thing. Yeah? It just didn't come out in a book. Yeah? The first people who wrote the first books, about that, that's... Yeah? They observed, they observed the atoms, they observed, how many electrons are running around the atoms, yeah, and then decided, and then saw different, yeah, different, what is it? Forgot the word. Different modalities or different kind of structure it has. Yeah? Through observing, and that's the same thing, yeah? We observe pain, we observe fear, we observe worries, we observe boredom, we observe restlessness, until we understand it. Huh? Just like they did 100 years ago with physics, yeah? Huh? The first physicist, was Newton. He observed how an apple was falling from the tree. He didn't get it, he didn't think about, the law of gravity. It just didn't come to his mind, yeah? He observed it, and he said, there's something interesting, let's investigate it, yeah? And we have so many things to investigate. This body, where does this body come from? Where does this body go to, yeah? And what is it, what is it driving this body, yeah? What is pain, yeah? What is feeling, yeah? What is memory, what is thought, yeah? All these things we need to investigate. And we can investigate because they are not me, they are not mine, and they don't belong to me. So samatha is called samadhi. It's also called samadhi meditation. Yeah? And vipassana is called developing wisdom, yeah? Insight meditation. Yeah? But in the West they mix it up, for them vipassana is half, samadhi and half, but not really asking questions, yeah? Just observing, yeah? Without asking questions, we don't get any answers. Yeah? Now you can observe pain until the end of your life, but you don't get wiser. Yeah? But if you ask, what is pain, where is the pain, why does it move from one place to the other, or follow up the pain, until it shows you where it emanates from, yeah? Then you get an insight. And this insight, and the deeper the insight is, that cuts the fetters. That cuts the fetters of our attachment. And if we cut all the fetters of our attachment, yeah, then we are not bound to this, bound to this samsara anymore. Yeah? Or to the treadmill, or whatever you call it, or hamster wheel, yeah? You call it whatever it is, That these 10 fetters, that bind us. Yeah? The first fetter is the fetter of doubt, yeah? Doubting that there is heaven or hell, doubting that there is beings in heaven or hell. That's a fetter for most of the beings in the world, you know. I mean, they just don't believe it. So that keeps them attached to the circle. That keeps them attached to the hamster wheel because they doubt it, or doubt that there is karma. Doubt that there is good karma, bad karma, and and results of good karma and bad karma. That is all the first fetter. The second fetter is not keeping the 5 precepts. Keeping them today, tomorrow breaking them, then keeping them again and breaking them again. That is a fetter. And the third fetter is, the attachment to the body, that we think we are the body. Get out of the body, look at the body, and you see you are not the body. The fourth and fifth feather is greed and hatred. And greed and hatred are in the body, rooted in the body. So we still do the investigation of the body to find out the nature of the body. And with the nature of the body, of course, the senses that come with the body. So after investigating greed and hate, we get rid of greed and hate through investigating the body, where greed and hate are rooted in. Once you destroy the pot, where the plant of greed and hate, roots in, I mean, every plant has to die, when you destroy the pot. Just dries out and, And then are the 5 higher fetters. Attachment to form, attachment to formlessness. What is it then? Conceit, restlessness, and then the last one is avijja. There's a very good description. It's the last chapter in A Life of Inequality. Read it. Much better description than I can give. So, I hope you understand. Now go and practice and do something worthwhile with your life. So, are there any questions? Silvia, hast du verstanden? Nein, nur die Hälfte. Ja, macht ihr nicht. Der Benny kannst du dann übersetzen. Aber sein Englisch ist auch nicht so gut. Ja, Todd. I thought you had a question. You raised your hands.
I was raising for a different reason.
For sadhu. Okay. Yeah.
Doing the Buddha when listening to the talk, is it possible? Is it okay?
Yeah, it is okay. It is much better if you use then the breath. Because then you can listen, And if you listen, try it without, just try to listen, inside your heart, that's the only time, you go really into your chitta, when you start listening to a talk. Observe the breath, Observe the breath at the beginning. You can do it, I've never tried it, I always tried with the breath, because I started with the breath, I tried the Buddha, and it works, it works fine, but I've never tried it by listening. So, that is something that you have to figure out, If it distracts you, the Buddha, then just go on to the breath, breathing in, breathing out.
So it's not prohibited to stay with the Buddha?
No, of course not.
I feel like
because it will be, you will see it is easier. No, of course it's not prohibited. It's not. It is not really important that you understand what is said in the talk. We just, all what we want to do is, open our chitta, to be able to grasp the meaning of the talk. And for that, we have to be concentrated. We always try to understand what did he say, why did he say it, and then, actually, we don't listen to the next few sentences because we are in thought. When you're with the Buddha, you listen actually to every sentence, so that Chitta will know. Yeah? And at the end, if you really do it, at the end you will be surprised because you understood something much more deeper than when you try to listen and understand. Yeah, no, it's not wrong. Yeah? And it's not important that you try to understand by listening to a talk. I love it, I just listen in my heart, and it makes me so quickly calm. Because there is something, it is much easier to listen to something, than to mentally repeat the Buddha. Yeah? And you don't get so easily distracted. Yeah? So that's why I really loved it. And that was one of the reasons why Luang Por Mahapo allowed, cassette recorders. Yeah? Just to listen to tape recorders. Yeah? He allowed it in the monastery and said, okay, I've given so many talks, just play them. I cannot give talks forever. And in the last years when I was there, he gave only 3 talks a year. That was hardly enough. Yeah?
3 per year?
Yeah. Yeah. And then in the end, in the last 10 years, it was only 2. In the beginning of Pansa, at the end of Pansa. And maybe sometimes, during the rice festival or when there were lots of monks were coming. Yeah. Well, he gave talks to the lay people, but they were very different level. Yeah. So that's why he allowed it, he said, it's useful. Yeah, and he himself said, in the beginning, when he had a teacher and listened to his teacher, he said the Dhamma comes from the Chitta. I said, no, the Dhamma comes from the books. Yeah, he didn't want to believe it. The Dhamma comes from the books. Yeah, why does this stupid teacher tell me the Dhamma comes from the heart? Yeah? And it took him a while, until he understood, because it was not the only person who told him so. Of course, the Dhamma comes from here. All what you do is you open your Chitta so that the Dhamma can seep in. And then at the time when you need it, it comes out. Wonderful, and you don't even have to worry, you don't even have to understand it.
And that's when your whole practice becomes metta.
What?
And that's when your whole practice becomes metta.
Metta?
Yeah. When you're doing that, experiencing that, that's when you don't have to have a separate metta practice. As you're practicing metta at the same time.
That depends on. Metta is something special. It's concentrating actually on the feeling of metta that is there. Yeah? But if you go into samadhi, there are times when you feel this metta. Yeah? You actually go there to this realm. Because there actually is a heavenly realm called metta. Yeah? There's also a heavenly realm called upekkha. And there's a certain sensation to it. Yeah? Because these people do radiate this metta. Yeah? So there's a certain sensation to it. You can see the difference of it. Yeah? And it does happen, if you get a good insight, then metta comes, or gratefulness comes, tears comes, happiness comes, all sorts of things can happen. But then, a few days later, or maybe even the next hour, you're stuck with another problem. You get frustrated. It was so nice, But that's life, yeah. And that's our practice, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up again, down. Yeah? But when you see it over a long period of time, in the beginning it goes very high up, very low down. Yeah? You feel excited or exalted, and you feel really down. Yeah? And then in the end it becomes constant. Neither excited nor down, and we think that is boring. No, it's ultimate happiness. We just don't know it. We think we need to be exalted, we need to be high, That's why a lot of people take drugs, And other people are, love their depression, Just like people like their high state. I mean, when you look at people who love, who are depressed, they actually love it. They don't admit it, but they like it. It's just the opposite feeling, yeah. It's a feeling of high, of high frequency. No matter if it's called depression or if it is called ecstasy. But people think it's completely two different, opposite. Yeah? On a coin you have two sides. Yeah? It's the same coin. The material of the coin doesn't differ. Yeah? It's just two sides. Yeah? On one side, it's called evil. On the other side, it's called good. Yeah? And that's what drives us mad. We want to get rid of the evil. Yeah? I mean, if we really want to get rid of the evil, we have also to get rid of the good. Because it comes in one package. And that's why greed and hatred is always mentioned in one go. Yeah? Only greed and hatred can be destroyed at the same time, at the same moment. You cannot destroy greed before you can destroy hate. It comes in the same package. It's the same coin. And that is something, in the last phases of our investigation of greed and hate, that is something that we have to understand. Okay, any more questions?
When I listen to Dhammatalk, I try to focus on here.
Yeah.
So sometimes I feel something stuck here.
Yeah.
Because most of the time when I started to listen to Dhammatalk, even after a while, after listening to talk, I feel something stuck here.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yes, sometimes I feel.
Yes, it doesn't happen very often, but sometimes it happens. Yeah? And sometimes, it happens while, I noticed with Lungta Mahabor, when he talked about a certain topic that I haven't investigated, and he talked about, investigating this, my chitta actually did it at the same moment, investigating in this way. That's very interesting. Yeah?
That's why I find very peace when I listen to Dhammatalk.
Yeah. But, as helpful as they are, it still doesn't relieve us of the work that we have to do. Yeah. Then after you feel calm, with the Dhammatalk, then you have to do actually samadhi, and practice samadhi, calm.
And other question,
you have to distinguish between a question, and something, you want to tell.
Yeah. Now, the problem is that I hear sometimes when I say something to someone,
yeah,
and then someone telling me, I am not the who I am. Right?
What?
I am not the who you think, or something like that.
That comes up in you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is just defense mechanism of the kilesa. And then ask yourself, what are you defending? Huh? He said something that was unpleasant to hear. And if it is unpleasant to hear, that means there's something in the heart that's still attached to this. So, he got the point. Well, he drove in the nail, like we say. Yeah? He shows you something, yeah? And that's why you try to defend. You don't know who I am. Hmm? So you don't want to see it. That means you don't even want to see it. You don't even want to look at it. Now when that feeling comes, yeah, whenever you hear an excuse of the kilesas, and that is an excuse of the kilesas, you don't know who I am. Yeah? That is a great excuse of the kilesas. Then say, red alarm, lamp, boom, boom, boom. There's something wrong, what are you defending? He actually showed me something that I don't want to see. That's why I'm pushing it off. Yeah? Isn't that great? And then you're grateful for the person who told you that. Well, at least it takes a lot of practice. It Takes a lot of practice, but, you know, I mean, you will get better with time, with practice. Okay? Understood? Any more questions? I'm saying, did you understand?
I understand it, but I was disturbed just now when the thought arises. When you asked me, did I take a nap? I really didn't take a nap, but then the Kalisa said, do you mean...
Photo! Your kilesa is going in the wrong way. I mean, other people, you know, don't have a second thought about it. That is worry. Why don't you call it worry? Hmm? You know exactly when you did something wrong.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And that's, you know, that's where you have to remedy something, yeah? Hmm? Okay? No more questions? Andy? Well, tell the ghosts and tell them to come to see Ajahn. Don't bother me, I'm just a young practitioner. Go and see Ajahn, he's more experienced. But, you know, the best thing you can do is just put. That's the thing, yeah. No other entity can enter if you are really strong concentration. It was also, you know, I mean, sometimes the devas told, you know, Lumpuman, you know, they come at 1 o'clock in the morning, yeah, and Lumpuman was still sitting in samadhi, in deep samadhi. He didn't know anything. When he came out of deep samadhi, he normally went in upachara samadhi, and then he saw them waiting there. Oh, you're there already. Yeah, we waited for quite a long time. If you're in deep samadhi, I mean, the world, you know, ceases to exist. Everything. And there's nobody, you know, I mean, that can enter. Upachara samadhi, I mean, you see, you can talk with other beings of other realms. Okay, so, finish. Up.